Rob, I want to tell you about Panic's Playdate because I understand you have not watched the announcement video from last week yet.
No, I haven't. I think it's in my Instapaper list somewhere, but I still haven't watched it.
Yeah, I put it aside myself because it dropped like right in the center of WWDC, and I was too busy to watch it, even though it's only like, I don't know, 15 minutes long. But I put it aside and I watched it last night, and it was fantastic. It got me very excited for the whole thing again. Just to remind people, this is Panic's little handheld gaming device that has a little crank on the side and uses this black and white, super reflective, not backlit at all display. Very odd little device for making kind of, I guess, pixel style, old school video games. And the whole idea is you'll buy one of these, and then they will weekly send you out new games delivered by Wi-Fi to the device. So you'll have a little treat every week that you can play. And so it's kind of a combination of hardware and a subscription all rolled into one. But you buy the device, and the first season, as they're calling it, which is 12 weeks long, comes with the price of the device. So this video, we got the price, $179. We also learned that the 12-week season, instead of being one game a week, it's now 2 games a week. So it's 24 games, which is really good. They showed off very brief gameplay of a lot of the games, or at least the splash title screens. And there was a lot there that looked kind of interesting to me. They also announced an accessory, which is a Bluetooth speaker charging dock. So it's like a yellow cube that matches the Playdate, and it uses what I assume is Qi charging because it connects with magnets, which charges your device, allows it to sit in a stand while it's charging. It can also act as a Bluetooth speaker for either the sound coming from the device as you play games. They've also built a little music player in it with some built-in fun tunes that are going to be available to play over the speaker. And there's a pen holder in the Bluetooth speaker box because why not? So kind of, very interesting. The developer of what's the Obra Dinn game is working on something too, which involves monsters from Mars. Very early stages, not part of season 1, but they did kind of show off a few things that are being worked on for future releases. Plus, they announced a free website where you can go and you can build your own games without any coding experience. It uses, as they described it, a simple scripting language. I'm not sure if it's Lua or what it might be, or something that's custom. Plus, building blocks for putting the games together, doing the artwork, doing the sound, and all that. And then you can play them right on the device, and that's totally and completely free for anybody to make their own game. So and they're going to go on sale in July sometimes with 1 week notice in advance of sales, and they're doing kind of like a rolling pre-order. They're going to fill them as quickly as they possibly can. They've ordered enough that they hope they can meet the demand, but it remains to be seen whether they'll be able to do so. So I'm pretty.
They won't.
No, they won't. I think I think no matter how much they planned and how much they overshot what they thought was the mark, they're still going to miss it.
Yeah, however many they've made, they're going to need like twice as many.
Yeah, and they did point out that with chip shortages around the world and COVID and all that, there are definitely supply issues right now. I mean, this is coming out later than they had hoped because of those kind of things, and that could really become a constraint on fulfilling orders. But they're letting people make an order, and if they want, they can cancel any time. So they're being really flexible about it. So I think that that's the right way to handle it. And hopefully, I'm hoping I'll get my hands on one right away.
Yeah, I mean, listening to you talk, you've kind of sold me on it, but I cannot right now spend this much money on a cute little console. Like, it looks really cool, and I feel like this is the conversation we always have. You try and sell me on stuff, and I think I'm like the slightly more level-headed one, where I'm just like, no, I can't. I can't justify it.
Well, to push you over the edge, you have to remember that you're getting 24 games, and if you consider those would be maybe even at £5 per game, Rob, that right there brings the hardware price down closer to, £100 or something. So think of it that way. Think of the games as $10. Think of them as £10 each, right?
Yeah, I will go and watch the video. We'll see. But I really do like the look of the speaker with the little pen holder and stuff. I quite like that.
Yeah, it does look pretty neat. It just makes it something that you can kind of put on your desk. And I wonder if they'll do maybe, I don't know, a clock app or something. So you can have like one of those. I'm thinking of this because I'm thinking of the Nintendo Game & Watch, which we can talk about as part of E3. Nintendo has announced another one of these for suckers like me who buy a $50 little game that they don't really play very often, but they like to know that they have it. So, I mean, one of the things in the Game & Watch is a clock, just because, you need a Mario clock or a Zelda clock. And I could see having a Playdate clock.
Yeah, I could see that could work. I mean, it's not backlit or anything, so I'm not sure it's going to be that useful sort of at night or anything. But yeah, I mean, I'll watch the video. I'm going to try and stop myself from ordering one of these because I feel like I'm going to play it a few times and then go, yeah, this was nice, but I'm going to go back to my consoles now.
Yeah, it is interesting. It is be interesting to see how it goes that way. Why don't we talk about E3? Because I know you watched some of that, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've watched. I mean, what I tend to do is wait till each individual company's conference is over, and then I just go and watch the individual trailers for the games I care about. Because, I mean, let's just start. Avatar. Who's asking for an Avatar game? Who in 2021 is going, do you know what I really want to do? I really want to play Avatar. I
don't understand Avatar, Rob, and this is why I have it in the notes as Avatar, and my note is why. Because it's exactly right. But you know that they have like 3 movies planned, right?
Do you know, I watched the first one recently for the first time because I'd never seen it.
What did you think about it? What did you think of it?
Oh my God, I thought it was terrible.
Okay.
I thought the story was bad. I thought just the whole, I appreciate that, like, it looks pretty. It looks pretty decent. I think it holds up after however long it's been. But
that's it.
I was just watching this movie and I'm like, this is what everyone was losing their mind over. Now, I remember it when it came out and it was obviously like this big, it's the first sort of big budget 3D movie.
Right.
But I think there's definitely like there's everyone in the middle who's just like, oh, it's 3D, who cares? But there's people who are really into it and went out and bought like a 3D TV for their house and 4 sets of glasses. And there was people like me looking at it going, there's no way this is going to take off. I have no interest in watching 3D movies at all. So I never even bothered seeing Avatar. But I figured, because as you say, there's like 3 or 4 movies coming out. So I thought, well, let me watch the first one, see if it's something I'm interested in. It is not. I will not be watching the new movie.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know how a movie that's really that bad, other than having really good special effects, ends up getting, 3 committed movies plus a major video game release. But yeah, I have no interest whatsoever in Avatar. So your approach is a good one. I did sit through the Ubisoft presentation, the Microsoft presentation, and the whole Nintendo one myself.
Yeah, so I can't remember whose it was in, but the Guardians of the Galaxy game that I initially heard, I thought, oh, that sounds quite good. I've now watched gameplay and I'm like, oh, this doesn't look that good at all. But what was interesting is they showed it during the Nintendo Direct.
Right.
And for about 3 seconds in the top right-hand corner in really tiny text, it was like cloud version.
I missed that.
On the Nintendo Switch, you're not playing it locally. Like, you are going to need an internet connection to play this game if you buy it on the Switch.
Yeah, and you're going to need a fast one. They're doing this with a few games here and there. I mean, they did it with Control, and I've tried it on a very fast connection, and it's okay. But I don't know. I think if I'm going to spend that much money on a game, I want to know that I can play it pretty much anywhere. And needing to make sure that my internet connection, like I'm sitting in the right place in my house where the internet is the strongest, to make sure I get a good game experience, just isn't something I really want to do.
No, I mean, as you say, this is being used in interesting ways. Like, I think Microsoft announced today or yesterday that Xbox Ones, so the previous console, I just want to make sure I'm getting the names of these right, will be able to play the Series X games through the cloud streaming thing. So that is quite an interesting proposition, because you haven't upgraded your console. You've got the same one that, theoretically, like mine, I bought 7 years ago or whenever it was. And in theory, I could play, whatever the latest exclusives or whatever are through, I'm guessing, like Game Pass Ultimate or something like that. So there are interesting uses for it. But I can't help but look at Guardians on the Switch and think, you could just not release it there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be released on the Switch, because I think people are going to buy that game and they're going to be really annoyed or disappointed that they can't play it offline, or as you say, their internet's not good enough.
Right.
It certainly was weird that they sort of hid it in text just at the top for about 3 seconds.
Yeah, that is a little weird. Microsoft is doing a lot with the streaming. That's becoming a cornerstone of where the Xbox is going, because they also announced right before E3, I think it was, that they're going to be coming to TVs, just like an Apple TV app or a Samsung TV app, whatever it happens to be. And I can imagine that's kind of the same thing that's driving the Xbox One being able to do that, because I can't imagine that the processors in a TV are any more robust than what's in the Xbox One. So it makes sense that you'd be able to stream to those, and from those to your TV, I would think. So that's good to know. And it's Apple's just going to miss out on this because they don't allow streaming game services on their platform, which is a shame. I mean, you can do local play, local network play, streaming, and you can do a few other things, but you can't do what Xbox is doing with a bunch of manufacturers now, which is actually streaming the games from a server to a local device of some sort.
Yeah, it's a really interesting proposition, and like for somebody like me who, this generation, I've just decided I'm not getting an Xbox. They haven't they've not shown me anything that gives me that same feeling that like Horizon Zero Dawn does, or The Last of Us, something like that. But I do have an Xbox One.
Right,
so
right.
If they do come out with something that I'm really interested in playing, well, I can just sign up for a month of the Game Pass Ultimate or whatever, and theoretically just play it on my Xbox One that I bought 8 years ago, and I'm not missing out on anything.
Do you think Starfield would change your mind about getting an Xbox?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. It was very, very brief preview of that game. It looked fantastic. I still don't have a very good sense for what it's all about, but it does look kind of cool.
Yeah, is Starfield one of these games that's been delayed for ages? I forget. I feel like it rings a bell that this is one of these games we've been waiting for a long time.
Yeah, it is.
Or is this
it's definitely one of the biggest worlds that they've created for this sort of thing. So there's been a lot of hype about it. I don't know how long it's been in development, though.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I saw a lot of people getting excited. So I just sort of assumed that there was a lot of hype. But let's not forget the last time everyone was hyped about something was Cyberpunk. So
yeah, that's good, very good point.
Let me tell you actually what we're talking. What does live up to the hype? Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, I've heard so many good things about it. It's the first time where I'm really truly becoming jealous of everyone I know who has a PS5.
Yeah, that is. I mean, it definitely feels like. I mean, I know Returnal sort of came out, but I don't think that has the same appeal.
Yeah, it doesn't
appeal
to as broad an audience, I don't think.
No. So I got Ratchet. I think I got it the day before release. I got really lucky, and I pretty much finished it over the weekend because I was just playing it non-stop.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty amazing.
And now I'm in my second playthrough of it, but. It looks great. Insomniac managed to put out a ray tracing and 60 frames per second mode.
Right.
Like the performance ray tracing or whatever they had for Spider-Man, they managed to get that out before it released. It looks fantastic. It's as fun as any other Ratchet and Clank game I've played. And like I say, I'm in my second playthrough, and I'll probably do a third playthrough just because it's so much fun. So yeah, that really does live up to the hype.
Yeah, that does sound amazing. I mean, especially the ray tracing. I've heard that that's really the way to play the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I interrupted our E3 discussion.
Right.
So what else did we get in the? What have we got here? The Microsoft one. They had the Halo stuff, which looks way better than what it looked like before.
Yeah, I mean I don't really know what they were thinking when they did that original preview. I mean, I don't remember how long ago that was. It was a pretty long time ago, but it looked terrible. And I think you didn't even have to know what video games are supposed to look like to know that looked terrible. And and now it looks quite nice. And I don't know if I'm going to actually play it, but it looks respectable now. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of it. But I don't think that's a game I'll probably play.
No, it's never really. I'm not one for first person shooters anyway, but I think if nothing else, like Halo is really important.
Oh yeah,
to get right and to get out as soon as they can, because don't get me wrong, like Game Pass is an amazing deal. Like if you just care about just playing random games, like Game Pass on an Xbox is definitely the way to go. But they really need that thing that's going to sell the console,
right?
And I think Halo is it. Like that's the big one.
Though
so the sooner they can get this out, the better.
Yeah, I'd say Game Pass is starting to become that thing. Although I agree they need some kind of exclusive big title games. But of the 30 games that they announced, 27 of them are on Game Pass. So that's pretty remarkable. I mean, they're really definitely all in on the subscription model.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's certainly, I would definitely consider it when the Series X or something gets a bit cheaper. Like maybe I pick one up and, just get Game Pass for like 6 months or something, or a year, and I can sort of, play all the games that are not necessarily stuff I care too much about, but I'm still kind of interested in. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. You know what? We should talk about Nintendo because they had a very interesting presentation and a very interesting direct on Tuesday, which when it started, I thought, oh no, this is going to be terrible, because there was a lot of stuff that was a little bit very humdrum at the beginning. And I never like it when they start with these Super Smash things, because it feels like they're leaning too heavily on coming up with new characters from various games. And this time it was a character from Tekken, and Super Smash is fine. I mean, I play it now and then, but they seem to be real. I guess those are rabid fans, and they feel like they have to address that up front. But I'm a little tired of the whole Super Smash thing. What I was really interested in was that there's a lot of remakes of GBA games coming out.
Right, exactly. Yeah, this was a very weird sort of just to throw in a bunch of this stuff that they did.
Mm-hmm.
And as you say, the beginning of the presentation, of ignore even once you get past the Smash Brothers new character or whatever, was like, I think it was like 2 or 3 games that have already been announced sort of elsewhere.
Right,
it was like Guardians, Worms Rumble, and I think Life is Strange, which, we'd already seen that in other presentations.
Quite a while.
Life is Strange was announced, Life is Strange was announced like 2 or 3 months
ago.
ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
So it's, it felt like a very slow lead up, and then we got into, some of the better stuff that they've got coming.
Yeah.
Was it like a Cruising Blast? Is that one of the racing game that they did?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that does pretty cool. I haven't actually used my Switch for quite a while. I really should.
I have been, as WWC approached, and a little bit during the beginning of it, I've been playing Breath of the Wild again. So I was pretty pleased with the announcements at the end when they showed some Breath of the Wild 2. But I really liked in the middle, since I've been, as I've talked about before, kind of been on a retro game binge. Right at the heart of that has been Game Boy Advance games. And they announced a remake of Advance Wars 1 and 2, I guess it was, and that are one game combined, WarioWare, and then a Metroid Dread, which is supposed to be like, I guess, take place right after Fusion, which is another big title on the Game Boy Advance. So the first thing I did after that presentation is I went to my favorite used video game store online, and I bought WarioWare, Metroid Fusion, and Advance Wars 1, all to have come later this week, because I've been doing that. I've been playing those old games on various devices I have around, and I'm building that collection for when that I finally get my Analog Pocket, which is now supposed to come out right around the same time as, I think, Breath of the Wild 2, or something like that. It's supposed to come in October, I think. I guess, yeah, which is when, is that when? No, that's when the Metroid game is coming out in October. So
that's it,
yeah, because Breath of the Wild 2 is a 2022 release. That's one of the few big releases they mentioned that are coming next year. That and the sequel to Rabbids, Mario and Rabbids, which looks kind of fun. I like that first game. I'm looking forward to playing the sequel.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I really, really enjoyed the first game.
Yeah.
I mean, I played it and then because I played it quite late. I think I picked it up on a sale or something, and then I got the DLC as well. And I was replaying all the levels to collect everything, and I intend to go back and play it again because it's such a fun game.
I forgot there was DLC. I don't think I ever bought that. I may have to go back and play that myself.
Yeah, I noticed in the trailer that I think they actually said it, that like they've got rid of the grid system, so I'd be interested to see reviews when that comes out, because I'm like, isn't that the whole point of it? Not the whole point, but like that was like a key element of the game,
well,
so I'd be interested to know what they're doing there.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of key to the genre, I think, is the way I would kind of explore, right? Because it's one of those tactical style games, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do, but they did say that, so I guess we'll see. I mean, but these, WarioWare is a bunch of mini games. Advanced Wars is a battle game, which is considered to be one of the all-time classics of the Game Boy Advance. And then Metroid Dread is a 2D version of Metroid that is going to come out, I guess, now before Metroid Prime 4. So that was kind of a big surprise that that's actually coming out. And I saw actually in a tweet today that there is a reference to Metroid Dread in game in 2003 or something. I think in Fusion. So it's a name that's been around and has been rumored for a long time, because there was also a reference to it in some product page in the early 2000s as well. So the Metroid people are going a little crazy right now. And
yeah, I did see there was like, I think there was even a reference in a leaked document from like the 90s somewhere, like later 90s.
Wow.
So it really does, whatever this, whether it is actually the same game at this point, or do you know what I mean?
Right, or just borrowing an old name.
Right, but they've clearly been talking about this for a very long time.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be a lot of fun to see. So, yeah, on balance, I'd say the Nintendo presentation wasn't the best one I've ever seen, but there was a lot of nice nuggets in there. And on top of that, if Nintendo is going down a real nostalgia line with the classic Game Boy Advance games, I'm totally there for it. I mean, that and some of the early DS games, I'd love to see them start mining that for material on some of the newer systems.
Oh yeah, definitely. Are you not you didn't mention the key of the whole presentation, Just Dance 22. Are you not?
Yeah, I think my eyes glazed over during that part.
But they showed a list of like the artists that were in it. I don't recognize like one person.
Oh, really?
I was like, okay, this is not for me.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention at all during that part. All right, Rob, I think that's probably a good place to stop. What do you say?
Yeah, I don't think there was. I'm just looking through the really good E3 recap website to see if there was anything else that we missed, but I think we've pretty much covered it, or at least anything we care about.
Yes, and that's what
I'm sure there was a bunch of other stuff that we just don't care about.
Right. Well, there's a DLC for the Hyrule Warriors game for the Switch, which I haven't played the first one, so I don't really have any comment on that. But it looked kind of cool in the video.
Yeah, definitely. But there's a lot coming, and then presumably Sony are going to do something in the next few weeks, I would imagine. I don't think they've announced their state of play yet, but obviously they don't do E3 official anymore, do they? They just sort of do their own thing whenever they feel like. So.
Right. I'm just hoping that Sony announces that they've got more consoles coming than than anybody could possibly buy, but I have a feeling that that's not the case.
No, I mean, what was weird was that they released some bundles this week with Ratchet and Clank, or last week in the UK. I mean, there clearly wasn't many of them.
No,
but they clearly managed to find some stock that they could bundle with Ratchet and Clank and get those into the shops.
Interesting, because I have not seen very many go on sale, go turn up online anytime recently. There was a couple of times in the last week or so where they showed up, like supposedly this morning, they showed up at Target stores in the U.S., and I saw the tweet like 15 minutes later, and they were already gone. So,
yeah, it's still pretty difficult to get a hold of one.
Yeah,
but you can keep trying.
I've been debating with Federico what's harder to get, a vaccination in Italy or a PS5 anywhere in the world, and I don't know, because he's doing the the Vaccination Reload web pages to try to get appointments there, because there's a lot of demand, obviously, and it's very similar to what happens when you try to get a PS5. Anyway.
Oh dear. Cool. All right. Well, let's call it. We'll wrap it there, I think, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks. Maybe there'll be some more video game stuff, maybe from Sony or anything else. But I'm sure we'll find something to talk about.
All right. Sounds good. Talk to you later.
Bye.